Hey, what's up guys? Tony here, and what you're watching is more iRacing, of course. This is a full race, so if you got the time, please sit back and enjoy the race. I'm going to do something a little bit different than I normally do. Either I usually do like a topical commentary where I talk throughout the whole race about something, usually a topic that's related to hopefully racing or sports or maybe something that's on my mind. Or on the other side, I sometimes just upload a full race, uncommentated, and like this in the same sort of format, so you can see my lap speeds, you can see what lap we're on, you can see my position and stuff like that. So I do one of those too, but I'm going to try something different this time. I want to do a retrospective commentary while I'm showing you the video. So while I'm watching it and you guys are watching, I can tell you what I'm thinking and sort of what's going on in the race at that particular time. And I can't give you the live commentary because I race with triple monitors, and when I try to record with triple monitors, my frames go down to like 30 frames, and it makes it really, really hard to race and record at the same time. So I don't. So I have to constantly do these replays and try to figure out a way to get you a live race, but without, the live audio. I really wish I had live audio because it's exciting to hear the lap times and such. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start out here in the pace lap, the end of the pace lap. I'm not going to share the whole pace lap. Just to let you know, though, Tim, my buddy Tim Rebel Forge, he's in this race as well. I qualified in 5th position. He's in 7th position behind me, directly behind me. And we're actually getting ready to go green right here. And what I've been doing is I've been giving a lot of distance on going green, especially when I'm in the top 5, because I don't want to wreck anybody, especially in the first corner. And you always get those people that are just like, it's a long race, go ahead and take it easy, those sort of, thanks mom, we're all B or A class drivers, we know, thanks. But anyways, off the get-go, I'm actually pretty excited being in 5th position, because the race before this, I was starting like 25th or some shit like that, and I didn't have a good race. Let's just put it that way. There's a lot of funny enough, there's a lot of bad drivers at this level, and they all reside usually within the back of the pack. So for a race like this, I made sure to qualify so I could, get up maybe somewhere in the middle where I don't want to say where I belong, because that's kind of where I belong, in the middle. Anyways, I'm gonna take advantage of this guy. He had a little wiggle there. I'm just gonna go ahead and pass him and not think twice about it. I've started to learn that I used to be a little apprehensive about passing people sometimes. I'd see a mistake and I'd get nervous about passing a car, especially in a sort of a complex track like this. Track is a little complex. I mean, it's just so narrow. I get a little claustrophobic racing here, at least I do. And for me, at least, I get a little nervous trying to find a really good place to pass somebody. But lately, I have been a lot more aggressive about taking the initiative, and when mistakes happen, capitalizing on those mistakes. So I'm proud of myself for not lifting when I see a car get squirrely like that. I'm like, nope. You're making a mistake, you're slowing down, I've got the speed, I'm going to take you, and that's that. And so I was pretty proud of that. For the first couple laps, I have no idea why. I had it in my head. I was in this sort of mental state where I was doing that like first 2 laps sort of slow through some of these turns because of the pack, even though the pack wasn't really that close to me, like directly in front of me. But it takes me a couple laps to get out of that sort of mentality to get into a racing flow, and that's what I'm trying to work on right now as a driver. Is that in the first couple of laps, it takes me a while to get a flow because you're in this pack, like coming out of this turn right here. My exit speed is so much faster than this red car, and I contemplated on maybe trying to go for a pass, but I was like, that's way too dangerous. I'm just gonna let them go, and you'll see me lift. When I'm getting close to these guys, getting close to a braking zone. One, because I don't know this track all that well. This is my second race here ever, and I've probably spent a couple of hours practicing in total. So the last thing I want to do is wreck somebody, rear-end someone, because I'm going way too fast. But I have a hard time getting a flow until we start to get spaced out in the race. Yeah, see what I'm saying? I just taking the turns. I'm taking it so narrow, I don't know why. I almost caused myself to spin out there. And I'm watching the guys get further and further away from me, and there's a part of me that's like, okay, well, that's kind of to be expected. They are the fast group. I mean, they are the top 5 drivers, and I don't really belong here. So they'll eventually get going, and I'll get stuck, you know, battling out for 6th position. And, you know, that's just the way my driving usually goes. And then this happens. I'm like, oh my God, I've caught back up. This is amazing. So what I was saying earlier about capitalizing on sort of their mistakes or just them being slower, that was me right there, kind of hoping that I'd be able to capitalize on that guy going a little wide on that turn. Obviously, it didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but I'm just happy to be this close, within a half second to a little under a second within the pack. And so here we go, capitalize on mistakes, myself and the red car, guy goes off track. And we are passing and hopefully putting distance between ourselves and that guy back there, because all these guys up here are on average faster than me, and I want to do whatever I can to put as much distance between them and myself as I can, and stay within the pack. I don't really want to lose the pack right now so early in the race. Once you lose the pack so early in the race, it's so damn hard to get it back. So if I can hang with the pack as long as possible, I can stand a real chance of, you know, sitting on top 5 finish for this race and getting some pretty sweet championship points. And I just noticed that black car that had a problem with that turn last lap just spun out and crashed, so he's gone. This turn right here, I've noticed that I pick up a lot of time right here. I seem to take it faster than these guys do. So at least the second half of the track, I'm constantly thinking like, okay, I might be able to find a spot to pass. And so now we're all bunched up here going to finish off lap 5, getting into lap 6. And there's part of me that's really nervous about this straightaway coming up in this braking zone. So I'm going to let them go. And good thing I did, because red car and green car got together. So like I said earlier, taking advantage of these mistakes, I just quickly passed those guys by. And it was at this point that I realized that I have quickly found myself leapfrogging over 4th and 5th position into 3rd. So now here I'm sitting in 3rd, and I'm looking at this guy going, okay, well, he just messed up on this turn as well. I could potentially get into 2nd place and kind of have a good run at this. I'm looking at the guy who's in 1st place, and he's way the hell up there and gone. Maybe there's a chance that, you know, like I said, maybe there's a chance I can score myself and put myself into a 2nd place spot, especially with the way this guy's driving McLaren. Just kind of going for what I see, but not doing things like that, doing things like this. 3 incidences on this lap alone. Those aren't going to get you in second place. So at this point I'm going, okay, well this is nice. The guy in front of me is about probably a little over a second ahead of me. The guy behind me is about a little over a second. Sorry, the guy in front of me is about a second ahead of me. The guy behind me is about a second behind me. So I'm sitting kind of pretty right now. I got a buffer on both sides. I prefer to be closer to the McLaren, but I'm not. And I know, like I was saying earlier, I see what kind of a driver he is, so I think there's an opportunity for me to make up some time and some of the back end of this track. And so I'm just kind of being patient and trying to drive as precise as I can, and letting the guys behind me. I'm not trying to really focus on the guys behind me. I'm really focusing as much as I can on the guy in front of me here. And it seems to help me out. My focus, I seem to focus a lot better when I'm chasing somebody, which is probably natural. It's a little nerve-wracking to have people just driving down your backside, just like, oh my god, they're right on your back, and you get a little, I don't get nervous, but you find yourself looking behind you or looking at the relative a little too often, and it just pulls focus from your driving. At least that's what I find. So when you're focused on the guy in front of you, you're not looking anywhere else. And I know I can tell that I drive a lot better when I'm eyes up front and not looking back all the time and see who's behind me. So that was the off track that I was looking for, the mistake. I was able to pull in right on his ass, and here we are, you know, sitting pretty, probably like about a half second behind him. And what I'm praying for is, because I can't quite catch him, like I'm catching up to him, but I'm not closing the gap enough where I feel like I can make a pass. Like another little thing like that, you know, coming through this turn, feeling a little, aggressive, I guess is a good way to put it. But like I said, I don't see a place where I can actually pass. Going into this turn, looking towards the turn up ahead, I know he has a problem with it. So if I can nail this turn, I can close the gap like this. I'm like, oh my gosh, he's right there. But perhaps he might mess up, and I might be able to capitalize on that mistake and pass him by, because he's really, so far, I mean, I feel as if I have the ability to catch him, but I just can't. I don't know if I'll be able to get by him. You can see, like, he gets away on the top of that hill, but I'm reeling him back in on the back side of this track. So I know that there are areas that he's faster than me, and then there are areas that I'm a little bit faster than him. So it'd be nice to be able to catch up to him. I don't know if you caught that or not, but I didn't realize it until, I don't know, rounding this corner here. The leader actually spun out and crashed. So now I have found myself in second place with the leader right in front of me, and I am in a position where I feel I can pass him by. It just takes a mistake, and I'm right on his ass. And this right here for me, it's a little, this is quite too aggressive of an approach. In hindsight now, I should not have done that, because that could have ended very badly for both of us. First and second place, and I go and T-bone his ass. that could have been bad. But again, like I've been saying, this turn right here is one. I'm like looking, I'm like, yeah, he's right there, no. And we're on lap traffic right now, and I told Tim over TeamSpeak, I was like, this is a very bad place to run into lap traffic, and this guy does not yield, and this is what results. So I lose my second position, lap traffic gets in the way for me, and then he gets in the way for this guy, so I'm able to get second place back from him, but he just won't get the fuck out of the way. And there was a part of me that I wanted to tell him, like, dude, get out of the way, man. I mean, he stays to the side, but, you know, it's a tough track. It really is a tough track to get out of the way, but it was just one of those, you know, as upset as I was during the race, you know, in hindsight, he really can't go anywhere. It's a narrow-ass track, and he's not going to stop on the track. That's more dangerous than just being slow. But the thing that does suck for all of us is that you'll notice that the red and black car was replaced by a red and white car in my rearview mirror. And that guy behind me is the guy who will eventually win this race. Spoiler alert, sorry. But the guy is incredibly fast, and he started in 14th place. And I got strong feelings about qualifications. I think qualifying, like, people should qualify, and maybe there is a better way of putting the splits together based on qualification times. But it sucks to have a guy who is as fast as this guy Richard behind me, when the rest of us we're all running about the same level, and this guy is like far and away better than us, faster than us by several seconds. And it is really, I don't know, it's humbling, but yet at the same time it's incredibly aggravating to have such fast guys and within like such a tight group, because we were all pretty close. And as far as when in the race report, we're all really close as far as our average speed and our fastest lap time. So it does kind of suck to have these like guys who are 2 to 3 seconds faster than you, you know, sitting in 14th place while you're, you know, fighting it up in the first couple of positions, thinking like, oh, we got ourselves a real race on our hands. So anyways, that's sort of my that's kind of my beef about, you know, making people qualify for a race and not, you know, like having these guys just sit back there unqualified, and I don't know, maybe they find it to be a challenge. It's one of those things, just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna go in there and start 14th and maybe see if I can win the race or something. I don't know. I mean, you could always dog your qualification times, but I don't know. Anyways, it's just a gripe of mine that I have as far as qualifying and skill, and because I really enjoy this tight racing, and it sucks. And here I go off track, and I almost hit the guy, and I apologize very, very quickly over the comms because I almost hit him. I didn't want him to think that I was trying to block him, which I wasn't. I was just trying to get back on track. But that mess up puts him in second place and puts me back in third place, and it's a mess up that I will immediately regret about a half a track later. Yeah, I'm being a little aggressive here because I'm watching these two cars get further and further away from me, and I watch the cars in my rearview mirror get closer and closer to me, and it's like, oh no, not again. I can't lose these guys again. And this is it. This is my big regret right here, because McLaren guy, he messed up in that corner again, and this time because of my mistake last lap, I was not in the correct position to capitalize, and Richard in his red and white roof here was able to capitalize, and so he finds himself in first place. I find myself in third place, chasing the McLaren still, and now Richard is off the chain, and he's gonna go bye-bye, and he goes bye-bye very quickly. It's really sad, man. But still, I'm focusing upon the McLaren. I still have a job to do, and I really feel strongly that I can pass the McLaren. And there's another mistake, and this time I'm able to capitalize, put the freaking pedal to the metal, and I don't let up, and I pass him by. And so now, because I don't know exactly how fast this guy is, I kind of assume that he's like the rest of us. He's human, and that he might be around a 1:25 second lap time. I'd be able to catch up to him. I'm just kind of guessing that that's going to be the case. And at the same time, I'm really excited that the McLaren is behind me, because although the guy is not slow, he's by no means super fast. So I don't feel, and I do feel that I might have a little bit of an edge on him, and that I could put some distance between myself and the traffic behind me, that he's going to be a very good anchor to those guys, because he's really difficult to pass, because, you know, like I said, he's not a slouch, but I do feel as if I could pull on him a little bit. I could just kind of creep away from him, put some distance between myself and those guys back there, them vultures, while at the same time trying to chase down Mr. Lightning McQueen up front, Lightning in a Bottle Richard. But it, you know, as hopeful, as optimistic as I was, it was about this part of this lap that I'm like, oh yeah, this guy, there's no catching this dude. He's fucking gone. He's so gone. So the next few laps, my lap times go down a little bit, because I find myself looking back in my mirror more and more, because I'm no longer chasing someone. Is Richard's gone, you know, he packed his bags and he's just gone. So I got this yellow front colored yellow McLaren, and two roofs behind him, and I'm hoping, like I said, that he'll be an anchor, he'll be a bottleneck, and I can put some time between us and kind of have a more comfortable, you know, last half of the race. We actually got about 6 laps left of the race, and unfortunately, though, the two roofs behind me, they handled the McLaren far easier than I did. I don't know exactly what happened, but they sure as hell got past him far quicker than I could. And so now I'm going to find myself looking in my mirror constantly, which is usually a bad thing for lap times. You know, I just thought it might be important to note that the guy who's behind me in 3rd place was the original leader. So even though he spun out a few laps back, like four or five, I think it was like 4 or 5 laps ago, he spun out that second to last turn. He's already caught back up and is in 3rd place. So the guy is just like Richard up front here, incredibly fast, incredibly talented driver. You're not a slouch if you can do that. That's kind of what I'm saying, you know. And then I didn't know that. I just assumed he was like just another black roof behind me. But you know, in retrospect, I'm like, well, okay, yeah, this guy's, you know, I got some badasses around me, and a part of me, and I don't mean to be, you know, tooting my own horn, but a part of me is pretty proud at the way I'm able to stick with these guys. So without the, you'll notice that I had a pretty good lead on the 2 cars behind me, and without traffic in front of me, I had gotten used to having people in front of me and sort of assuming a certain braking distance and a certain line, and I had lost that. Even though Richard he had a sizable lead after a while, so I really wasn't paying attention to his line. But I was paying attention to the cars behind me in sort of the relative box, as well as just sort of my rearview mirror, and that caused me to lose focus. Like I was mentioning earlier, when you get cars behind you, there's this tendency, and I'm trying to get out of that habit. It really is a bad habit to get into, especially on such a narrow track like this. It's just, pay attention to where you're going and not where you've been and who's behind you, because those guys who are faster than you, theoretically speaking, they'll find a way to pass you. That's never the case. They'll find a way to squeeze into a very narrow part of the track and either force you off track or hit you. That's sort of my cynical view of iRacing at times. So I'm noticing lap traffic coming up again in an area of the track that I really don't want to see lap traffic. And I don't think it's going to be, at this point, I didn't think it was going to be a problem. And so I see a couple cars up ahead. I've got this black car on my ass, and behind him is a very, I think it was the red and black car, but he's a good distance behind now. So I only have one person on my ass that I need to worry about. And he's not really pulling on me, and I'm not pulling away from him, but it's still something I'm thinking about. And of course, also on top of my head is a lap traffic coming up, because the last time we came across lap traffic, we saw how badly that went, because there was nowhere for them to go, and I didn't slow down enough to make that turn happen. Well, this is what happened. Lap traffic round 2, we had ourselves an incident, and I don't know, those moments you're just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And it happens so fast too, and you don't get a chance to shit yourself. You really shit yourself after the fact. But it was one of those moments where I was like, oh my god, did they have to make it harder? And that near accident got me a little flustered. As you can tell, I got out of my flow. It seems, not hard. I guess it's not easy to get out. I mean, it is easy to get out of your flow, out of your comfort zone, and out of your rhythm. And trying to get back into rhythm is sort of a tall order at times, especially with your adrenaline pumping. I have no idea how I was able to dodge that. I thought that black car was going to pass me by, but whatever he just wasn't able to do it. Either he gave up and, pursued a safer course of action, or maybe he just, I don't know, slowed down too much because he couldn't make that pass. But I was thankful, because I'm like, okay, good, I'm putting myself in a good position now, to maintain my lead, and putting some distance between myself and the guy behind me. And that's really all I've been trying to do is I know that these guys are fast and I'm not going to run away from them, but if I can, I can go ahead and maintain a distance. And that distance that I just had, I just lost right here with this. It's like, good God, coming in that corner, I fuck it up. It's like, oh my gosh, all that work that I had done to put that distance between myself and this black car, I damn near negated it by, not taking that corner properly. So during a practice session, I had spun out really bad, barely touching the grass like that. So the second I hit that off track, I was like, oh my God, not again. And so this guy, we went side by side, and I forced him to take the outside track, and I stayed on the inside track. I guess I positioned myself where either you can go really extremely inside, or he'd go outside, and so he chose going outside. And this is the white flag. This is last lap, and now I'm really gonna be fighting for the second place. I don't want to. There's a part of me that's like, okay, you know, I can't fuck up, don't fuck up, but at the same time, you know, I'm just like, okay, let's just calm down. You know, so I got the dual nerves going on, you know, like one mind, don't fuck up, and the other mind, I'm like, okay, just calm down, you'll run your run, and you'll be all right. And it was about this time when I noticed the distance, like, okay, cool, I got about a half-second lead on this guy. Going through this last bit, if I can get through this next corner that I've been having a problem with, I'll be solid. And so when I got to about this point, I'm like, all right, cool, I got this. I got a second place finish right here. I wasn't celebrating in my car by any means at this point, but my confidence was building as I was going through these last few corners. I'm like, okay, I think I've got this. I'm not worried about, there's not a single turn that I'm worried about after this point. I feel as if I've got enough skill to maintain this. And sure enough, I think the black car ended up spinning out or something, but right here, this is where I got a little smile on my face. I was like, yee! Second place finish! I kept it inside though. So anyways, guys, that's my second place finish from week 4 at Brands Hatch. And so anyways, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I shall talk to you guys later.